Good afternoon. This is O.C. Charles Nelson II, third in the line of O.C.s. The kids, well, actually, O.C. Christian named me senior some years ago when we were working on his house on Newton, and there's so many tools and extension cords. He just put OCC for his stuff, and he was puzzling and said, senior, that sounds good. Anyway, this is an introduction to what's kind of going on with me in terms of historical preservation. I started thinking a while back that kids, with me, Emily, don't get around to asking their parents soon enough to tell them some stories, tell them about their lives, and not faulting the kids, because Emily and I did the same thing. But I decided I'd take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and do an end around with my own son, because, if he starts saying, good God, I got to record that. So I got on this thing about autobiography, and it's been through several stages of questions and answers, and I've even bought my brother, well, actually 2 recorders now, and the software program Dragon, to allow his dictation to be translated directly into manuscript. And I don't particularly need to do that, because I'm thinking a lot. I have started my life, and it started, as near as I can tell, from the beginning, Elk Mountain, Wyoming. And I'm still only up through Hannah, which was our second move, which we moved to in 56 and left in 58. So I haven't even gotten to Laramie. I haven't even gotten to anything. But in the meantime, Music Summit this summer, a month ago, was just fabulous. Music Summit, Granny's Summit 7. We were honoring OC's friend and all of our friends, Hans Berg, who died March 7th in an avalanche. And it was just top notch. It was just the greatest musical assembly that OC and I have been involved with. And thanks to him, I call him the impresario. He puts this thing together year after year, and it's astonishing. But anyway, because I play, and because he's busy with Light Edison, and because this and because that, we really don't get a chance to spend a couple of weeks talking about stuff. And first of all, I have to me, a peculiar way of chording. I found out I got boutonniere's thumb. But because I wasn't a piano player, and because I had to invent my own ways to do C major 7s and C minor 7s flat, I had to, so I found ways to play chords in a simpler fashion, and usually with 3 fingers, sometimes 2. And anyway, I thought, this is going to get lost. Not that anybody really cares a bunch, but at some point, somebody might be interested in why I write my songs as I do. I started writing songs in 2007. Coincidentally, the same time I began taking bupropion. I didn't know 4 or 5 years before that, probably shortly after I retired, 2001, 2 or 3, that I was suffering. Finally went to the therapist from a thing called dysthymia, and man, it was terrible. Never felt it in my life. But anyway, long story short, the dysthymia works, and also I had heard the singer Mandy Moore, who I think is back up in that corner. I don't know if you can see her. Long story short, there too, she doesn't know anything about it, but I did pay to go see her. Paid $4,000 in 2010. Go out and visit the lady. It was cool. She was recording a song that day in the Warner Brothers studio for Rapunzel. Well, actually, Tangled was the show. But anyway, I got to spend 3 or 4 hours with Mandy, and sometimes her manager, for lunch. But it was just very cool. And I told her, how the music thing came, and the magic of music and how it came. And at one point, OC had me record 3 hours of cassette tape in those days of how I came to write songs. And I did that, and they're called Magic 1, 2, and 3, but they're in DVDs now. And now I want to get them rendered back into .moves or some kind of movie form that we can put on Google Drive, whatever. So that's where that is. So I've recorded 8 out of 10, I think, 25-minute portions, tutorials, if you will, on seniors chording. I think I got a couple more in me. And that led, and I'm writing my life history, and I'm doing Storyworth, which OC and Kari bought for us a few years ago. And now, today, what I'm starting here is I want to record for posterity a little snapshot of how not so much how I create, because that's on the Magic tapes, but sort of the process that happens of how I get these tunes from when I'm noodling over there, keyboard, to over here, the computer. And the first step is a program that I bought back when, called Finale. And I will come in the back door maybe. Well, that's a thing I'm writing. I'll bring the camera over here maybe a little further. I don't know what good this is going to do, but I want to show a little bit of what's going on. That's still probably not close enough, is it? Well, maybe I'll just take this off for a minute and hand hold it. So this is a thing I wrote for OC on chording before I decided to videotape it. And I'm not done with it, but it's a thing. But anyway, so let's go back. I was going to show you save changes. Oh, actually cancel. I'm just going to minimize that. So if I come in, let's do it. This is a little more visual. So if you come in this way, whoops, I guess I do want to get out of that. Yes. I hope I'll find that. Save changes. Yes. Change, yeah, yes. Okay. Now I can come in. I just want to show you a little bit about Finale. I hope or maybe this shows me what I'm looking at. Have no idea what I'm doing. So here's Finale. And it's got a bazillion things, and I still know about 10%. But I just want to show you a few things. So let's open. Here I've got a ton of songs. I've probably written, I don't know, over 300, and some of them are finished, some of them weren't finished, and so on. But let's look at, so here's one. Can you see this? I guess I'm going to have to look at. Here's one that's called Instead. And by the way, when I first started out, I wrote them in 3 staves. And how am I going to do this? Well, and then I'll reduce that. Then I went to 4 stave, because I have to do it this way. So instead, 5 stave. So this is what I wrote. Here's the tune coming up. 5 stave. And I did that because now with Finale, I could add this bass line and pick an instrument that's a synthetic upright bass, and it just sounds cool. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to set this down for a second and Control-click to get this going. Well, control click's not working today, so let's try this. And just see if so you can see what you can see. Maybe not. So that's it. All of my songs are in the process now of rendering them all from 3-stave to 4-stave. So while we're here, I want to open up a blank file. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to Dad's Music up here. Go down to my masters, master, and I want to show you, there's a 5-stave master, it's all right. And we're going to just do, well, we'll leave it alone. In C, I'll just show you. So Finale will allow you, if you set the sensitivity high enough, that you can actually play on the keyboard and the manuscript, and it will create the manuscript that you're playing. Well, I did that years ago once, and it turned out pretty good, but I am not a pianist, therefore it doesn't do any good. So what I do instead is I manually put notes in. So over here, let's have a bass line. We'll just go C, E, and we'll end with G here. So, and then let's go over here, and I'm going to have to set this down. Let's see how I can do this. I almost can't set that on the table. Oh, well. And so I'll just say, right here, I'm going to add, because that's what I'm doing. I'll just make that the rest of a G7 chord. So I'm going to still do this in the bass clef because it sounds better. And if I want to do a melody, I could have okay. And now one other thing you can do, and it used to be through audio, play through all these crazy things, but I found another way. Window takes me to Score Manager. And here I can assign sounds for that. So up here is grand piano. Let me see, I'm going to change that to guitar just for the heck of it. Nylon guitar. OC doesn't like that sound much. And then I've got the acoustic bass is already on staff 4, and 5 is what? Grand piano. Oh, and I've got that nylon. Actually, what I've been doing for this, I've got it in the wrong place, so let me show you. So I can go here, go back to this measure, and I'm going to go back to here, excuse me. I'm going to highlight, cut, and I don't know what's going to happen if I paste it here. I don't think it'll work. Oh, it did. So I want that, so that's cool. So actually I want this second stave, marked number 2, to be a warm pad. So I got to look, come on, baby. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So I want staff line 2 to be a warm pad. So I go down to synth pads, and I like halo. So I push that, and that's turned to halo pad, nylon guitar, mixed, blah, 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 blah. So I've started a song. So, I'll just start it this way. So I'm going to go up to here. Usually I can just start it on any measure, but it's not doing it. And I'm having a heck of a time holding this and stuff. So we'll just start it. So this now will play, and I can adjust the tempo. A lot of my ballads are at 60, so I keep it there. But this is how it sounds now. So I just wrote a song, and that's basically what I was just trying to say was, it's not complex, but I wanted, after I showed Osi the process of songwriting, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the mechanics of what happens after I write a tune. So I do that, and then fiddle with it, get it so it sounds good. And by the way, I'm editing all the time. I just edited a song called Words that I wrote several years ago. And it's apropos even more today because I'm posting on Facebook all the time, and my philosophy will get in my book, I guess. I was talking to my son. I said, I wanted to have a record of my thinking and how this is, and I don't know if other people, if there's anybody thinks like that and so on. He said, oh no, oh no. So I must have a unique perspective. But point being, I wrote this song Words, which basically the first three lyrics are words mean nothing. And again, my point being is that when you get to the nuts and bolts, I can't use words. When you get to telling somebody something that is you can't find words for, how do you feel about your girlfriend, your father, your daughter, your wife? I love you. That doesn't do it. So Words, the song Words says, words mean nothing. And I've been using that on my Facebook. I call it when I'm posting, because our current president, Mr. Trump, who I think is on the way to causing some serious, well, he already has. It's, I was going to mention this, it's September 9th, 2019, and it's pretty bleak. But I'm coaching people now to stop wringing your hands and stop bitching and moaning, get out and do something, call somebody, and so on. But when somebody posts another horrific thing he's done, I just say, there are no words. Today I created TANW, there are no words. And a few days ago I took a picture of a big NO, and I posted that, which is supposed to say to Trump and his 30% of the population, what? No, 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 no. You will not do that anymore. And I'm hoping that the forces of good come and do that. But anyway, back to the music part. So and by the way, I mentioned that back in 2007, I wrote, my first song was about Mandy, I think, A Glimmer of an Instant. And I have had you in my dreams forever. Tonight you're here beside me, in my arms. And it's just a romantic thing. I think almost see it in a tent. A guy is, oh, hello, just a second.